A long time ago, a powerful faction forcibly extracted resources from divine ruins. These ancient relics, once thought to be beyond reach, were now the source of their ambition. But within these ruins stood guardians. They wouldn't let just anyone pass through. Yet, as always, the powerful faction forced their way through. Enraged by their defiance, the guardians unleashed their wrath, calling forth the ancient monsters that had long slumbered in the depths of the ruins. The ancient monsters, creatures of immense power and fury, rise from the shadows. Massive, terrifying beings with scales and wings, glowing with mystical energy. Their presence disrupts the environment, sending shockwaves through the ruins. The workers panic as they try to flee, but the monsters are relentless. The guardians stand tall, watching as the creatures successfully chase the miners away, ensuring no one would dare return again. Even though the monsters lived in the land of humans, they were out of place and able to survive in water and earth, their true forms fading away. The monster begins to transform, its physical shape shifting into something more ethereal. Gradually, they adapted, becoming spiritual bodies, able to blend into the human world undetected. One of the monsters is shown merging with a human host, quietly taking control. Now, they silently latch onto chosen hosts, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Even now, in the modern world, the Guardians continue to punish humans for forcing their way into mining the ruins, even though it happened long ago. Recently, there have been many cases of mutated life forms harming humans. Just as a monstrous creature, fierce and aggressive, appears on the TV screen, sending a wave of concern through the city. An announcement can be heard, residents of surrounding areas, please stay alert and stay safe. People in the rain stop and look up, their faces filled with fear. Inside the train, amidst the crowd of passengers, stands a guy with his headset on, immersed in music. This is Chen Sheen, a recent graduate who has just stepped into society. Not much talent, his major was a mess, and he had planned to play around for 2 more years until his family chased him out. Like most people, he came to Chihuang City to eke out a living. Suddenly, in the middle of the crowded train, the soldier remains asleep, snoring lightly despite the chaos around him. The monstrous figure, with its glowing eyes and sharp grin, towers over him, its menacing presence starkly contrasting with the peaceful oblivion of the soldier. Oblivious to the growing danger, the soldier sleeps soundly, completely unaware of the terrifying creature looming just beside him. Fear spreads through the train as passengers spot the monstrous creature behind the sleeping soldier. Eyes widen and terror grips their faces, some too shocked to move. Panic erupts as the creature's presence is fully realized. Chen Sheen, finally waking, is met with the screams of terrified passengers as the chaos unfolds around him. Amidst the panic, Chen Sheen, still shaken, yells out in frustration, "Hey! What the hell? Watch out, but it's too late." The scene reveals the lifeless body of the soldier on the floor, a dark pool of blood spreading beneath him. The creature, now gone, has left its mark on the unfortunate victim. In this kind of environment, it's hard not to feel a bit irritable as the chaos escalates, leaving everyone on edge. After the soldier's life was taken, the monster went berserk. With a deafening roar, it cried out, "Demolish, demolish." The scene shows the creature rampaging through the train, its glowing eyes filled with rage. The force of its power rips through the surroundings as passengers scream in terror and scramble to escape. The once calm train is now a battleground, as the creature wreaks havoc, destroying everything in its path. The passengers, in a state of shock and fear, realize the truth as one cries out, "It's a mutated life form, an evil mutated life form." The ancient monsters latch onto human bodies in the form of spirits, turning them into mutated life forms. The creature's monstrous face snarls as it roars, "This place must be demolished." After growing evil in their hearts and taking over their bodies, the creatures go completely berserk, causing destruction wherever they roam. The mutated creature roars, "Those who obstruct me will die." As chaos spreads further through the train, the passengers panic, some trying to escape, while others scream in fear. One voice shouts, "The mutated creature is killing humans." Amid the chaos, one passenger realizes in horror, mutated life form? It's different from what I see in videos. I really saw a real one this time. As the creature continues its rampage, an announcement echoes through the train. The train is approaching the next station. Please mind your safety. We are arriving at. As the monster's rampage intensifies, passengers are thrown out through the windows, helpless against the creature's power. The train becomes a scene of pure chaos, with shattered glass flying everywhere and screams echoing through the air. Outside, on the train platform, people stand frozen in shock as they witness bodies being thrown from the train, unable to comprehend the nightmare unfolding before them. Panic sets in as they scramble, not knowing how to escape the terror that has now reached them. Inside the train, chaos continues as people shout, "Bastard! He's coming! Get out of the way!" Chen Sheen, desperately trying to escape the madness, pushes his way through the crowd, his face tense with urgency as the threat looms closer. On the platform, panic spreads as people shout, "Run!" A crazy mutated life form is inside. The crowd scatters in every direction, screaming for help as terror fills the air. One woman cries out, "Yah, save me!" Chaos erupts as the monster continues its relentless attack, sending everyone into a frenzy. Several lifeless bodies lie scattered across the floor, the destruction left by the creature's fury unmistakable. Its terrifying roars of demolish fill the air, echoing through the wreckage it has caused. Chen Sheen, now surrounded by the chaos and destruction, finds himself trapped, helpless against the monstrous force that seems unstoppable. Facing Chen Sheen, the creature roars with fury, its voice echoing through the wreckage, "Demolish and expand, flatten graves and reclaim land." The monster's vicious words only heighten the terror as it looms over Chen Sheen, the destruction continuing relentlessly. With a sharp gaze, Chen Sheen mutters under his breath, "What bad luck! I ran into a professional demolition thug, evil gangs." His eyes narrow as he observes the creature's chaotic behavior. This guy must have been too overly emotional and became parasitized. With his eyes fixed on the door, Chen Sheen thinks to himself, "The door is over there. I have to find an opportunity to escape." But as he considers his next move, a voice breaks through the chaos, "Grandma, I'm scared." Turning, he sees the old woman comforting a child. "It's okay, Grandma is here." With determination in his voice, Chen Sheen whispers, "Hey, Grandma, I will lure him away. You guys take the opportunity to escape." The old woman, worried, asks, "What about you?" As Chen Sheen braces himself for what's ahead, he says with a smirk, "Don't mind me, I used to be in my university's track and field." He continues with a slight chuckle, "Though I didn't win anything." At the same time, as Chen Sheen is trying to lure the monster, a pair of eyes watches from a dark place. The ominous figure chuckles, hey, haha." With a sinister grin, it mutters, "I finally found you, the young man from that time." Then Chen Sheen tried to throw something into the monster's face to lure it away from old woman and her grandchild. As the monster is distracted by the object thrown into its face, Chen Sheen seizes the opportunity. His heart races as he darts forward, his legs moving with all his might, escaping just in time from the creature's grasp. With every step, the distance between them grows, but his mind is already preparing for what lies ahead. With the monster still focused on the child and the old woman, Chen Sheen quickly turns back, shouting at the beast, "Look here." Idiot! His eyes burn with defiance, hoping his challenge will draw the monster's attention long enough to give them a chance to escape. As Chen Sheen turns to look back, thinking his distraction worked, his confidence falters when he hears a deafening growl. Before he can react, the monster swings its massive arm, slamming its fist right into Chen Sheen's head. "Hey!" He gasps in shock as his world spins, realizing too late that his plan had backfired. As the monster continues to shout, "Demolish!" its massive hand grabs Chen Sheen by the collar, lifting him effortlessly off the ground. Chen Sheen's face is filled with shock and dread as he struggles, realizing too late that he was too slow to escape the beast's deadly grip. I was too slow, he curses under his breath, his heart racing as the monstrous creature looms over him. As the monster continues its rampage, distracted by Chen Sheen's challenge, the scene shifts to the train platform where the old woman and her granddaughter have managed to escape. Help, there's still a survivor, someone shouts as they rush to safety. The scene switches back to Chen Din as he turns to face the monster. A powerful blow lands, throwing him off balance. Blood spatters from his mouth as the impact makes his vision blur. Pain radiates through his body, and he grits his teeth, struggling to stay on his feet. UGH, he grunts, fighting through the dizziness. The monster attacked again with its sharp claws, sending Chen Din flying through the air. As he crashed to the ground, his eyes bulged, blood splattered from his mouth, and he was overcome with intense pain. After being hit, Chen Din grits his teeth, his body shaking with pain as he struggles to stay conscious. His vision blurs and the words escape him through clenched teeth. I miscalculated. He breathes heavily, his body battered and bruised from the monster's relentless attacks. As Chen Sheen's vision fades and he's on the verge of collapse, the darkness begins to close in. He mutters in the end, I'm going to die, the words barely escaping his lips. The little girl tugs at the soldier's sleeve, panic in her voice. Big brother is still in there. The old woman shouts, save him quickly. As they hurry the woman and child to safety, another soldier shouts, hurry up and bring them to safety. The soldier in black speaks, his voice commanding, this mutated life form will be handed over to the security department. He turns to his team, glaring at them with a stern warning, no one is to act rashly. Yes, the soldiers respond in unison, fully alert and ready for orders. Suddenly, a dark and ominous force sweeps through the air. It moves like a shadow, swirling with black energy and glowing sparks. The eerie form hovers above the fallen bodies, an unnatural presence, seeking to possess one of them. The air grows thick with tension as the spirit draws closer, its malevolent intent unmistakable. Chen Din, barely conscious, lies motionless on the ground. His vision is blurry as he gasps for breath. A faint grimace crosses his face as his fingers twitch. To think I would experience this kind of thing, he murmurs, barely able to speak. He clenches his fist, his hand trembling with determination, despite the pain. As the mutated monster looms over him, he grits his teeth, muttering, I'm so unwilling, how can I fall just like this? His mind races with frustration, I'm still at the start of my life, he thinks, unwilling to accept his fate. As Chen Sheen's consciousness fades, a blurry memory surfaces through his mind. This child is beyond hope. Look at the neighbor's son, little Sue. The words echo in his mind, a distant conversation from his past. Younger Chen Din stands amidst a group of peers, who tease and shove him around. One of them, grinning, taunts, come, let's be friends. Chen Din, irritated by their mockery, thinks to himself, what an infuriating life. He also recalls the moments when he courted someone he liked, only to face rejection. The memory stings as the people around him start to mock, laughing at his failed attempts. Chen Sheen coughs up blood, his body shaking with pain. His breath comes in ragged gasps, but his eyes burn with defiance. He grit his teeth. I can't fall, not like this. He muttered, I must win even just once. The monster towers over Chen Sheen, its massive, muscular form radiating with raw power. Red, glowing eyes burn with fury, and a twisted snarl exposes sharp, jagged teeth. Its clenched fist, ready to strike, ripples with violent energy. Unbeknownst to both the monster and Chen Sheen, a golden, spirit-like aura speeds towards them from the distance. The mysterious force moves with incredible speed, its glowing energy cutting through the air as it approaches. Chen Sheen, drenched in sweat and blood, channels every ounce of his remaining strength. His body shakes, but his will remains unbroken. With his eyes closed, he shouts with all his might, live and win. He braces himself, preparing to face the monster's devastating blow, fueled by sheer determination. Just as the monster's fist is about to land, a golden, spirit-like figure suddenly appears above Chen Sheen, its powerful aura ready to possess him. The energy surges toward Chen Sheen, enveloping him in a whirlwind of power. As it enters his body, he is filled with a sudden surge of strength, his exhaustion melting away. His expression hardens with focus as the force takes root within him. Inside Chen Sheen's mind, the golden aura begins to materialize into a form another monstrous figure, its eyes glowing with a familiar intensity. It speaks to him as if they share a deep, unspoken bond, its voice echoing like an old, long-forgotten memory. Chen Sheen's eyes widen in shock as the powerful force takes hold of him. His breath catches, and in a moment of clarity, he gasps in realization. Is this an illusion? The overwhelming energy pulses, and his voice rings out with a chilling certainty as the truth dawns on him. An illusion after death? Chen Sheen trembles as the dark, liquid-like substance wraps around him, merging with his body. Jagged shapes form, but he's barely aware of the transformation. His mind is clouded, still convinced it's just an illusion as the overwhelming force takes control. The monstrous figure lunges forward, its claws slashing through the air with terrifying speed and power. Its glowing red eyes lock onto Chen Sheen, burning with rage as it closes in for the kill. But in an instant, everything changes. Fully transformed, Chen Sheen retaliates with a fierce, determined punch. As the monster's massive blow comes crashing down, Chen Sheen, now fully transformed, meets it head-on. With a surge of power, their fists collide with a resounding impact. The force sends shockwaves through the air, and the ground trembles beneath them. For a split second, time seems to freeze as the intensity of their clash echoes around them. Chen Sheen smirks confidently, his eyes glinting with fierce determination. The transformation has fully taken hold of him, and his new form radiates power. With a low, dangerous growl, he faces the monster, ready to push the fight to the next level. He grins. What I can give you is hope. Chapter 2. As Chen Sheen's transformation reaches its peak, his fist collides with the monster's, the force so overwhelming that the monster cannot withstand it. Its right arm is obliterated in the impact, leaving behind a trail of destruction as it reels from the devastating blow. Fully transformed, Chen Sheen's claws glow with ominous power as he raises them, preparing to strike. He smirks, the power coursing through him. Chen Sheen grinning darkly, these are the claws that can sever the connection between a person and their parasitic spirit. With a sinister laugh, Chen Sheen raises his claws in the air, the energy surging through them. Chen Sheen laughing maniacally, ya ha ha ha, time for some surgery. He slashes through the air, the claws cutting through the space around him with violent force, ready to deliver another devastating blow. With a wild grin on his face, he raises his clawed hand, aiming it at the monster in front of him. He laughs and says, "You are free now." The monster reels back in confusion, only to be met with a powerful slash from Chen Sheen. The air cracks with the force of the attack, and a dramatic burst of energy surrounds him. He completes the strike. After delivering the powerful strike, the parasitic spirit that had been controlling the human body falters. The dark force begins to unravel, severing its bond with the now vulnerable body. As the spirit is torn away, it hovers above the body. The once monstrous figure collapses, now reverting back to its original human form, free from the parasitic grasp. Freed from the parasitic spirit, the human's body lies still as the transformation slowly unravels. The once monstrous figure now reverts back to a frail, unconscious state. His breath is shallow and his body trembles slightly, the shock of the ordeal overwhelming him. Suddenly, the spirit that once possessed the human's body emerges. It forms into a translucent figure, glowing with an eerie blue light. The spirit hovers above the still body, free from its previous host. As Chen Sheen's parasitic form calls upon the spirit, he grins maliciously and says, "Ho ho, hello there." The defeated spirit, now disoriented and weakened, stares back in shock and fear, realizing the true force behind this call. The translucent blue spirit, clearly frightened, suddenly darts away from Chen Sheen's parasitic form, With a burst of energy, it races through the air, desperately trying to flee as far and fast as possible, its eerie red eyes wide with fear. With a wicked grin, the parasitic form eyes the fleeing spirit and laughs menacingly. Food, high-quality food. The spirit's desperate attempt to escape only fuels his hunger, as he chases it with wild anticipation. Grinning maliciously, his parasitic form bares its fangs wide, its eyes locked on the trembling spirit. I won't hold back then. The air crackles with energy as he lunges, ready to consume the blue spirit with a ferocity that sends shivers through the atmosphere. Suddenly, in one swift motion, he pounces. The spirit's scream is cut off as it is swallowed whole. The parasitic form licks its lips, savoring the power that now surges through him. Yahahaha, so disgusting. The spirit is completely consumed, its presence now a mere memory as the parasitic form absorbs all its energy. As Chen Sheen's parasitic form finishes savoring the last remnants of the blue spirit, he turns his attention to the approaching soldiers. Their weapons are aimed and the tension in the air is palpable. Target is ahead. One of the soldiers shouts, but his parasitic form only looks at the soldiers. With a glance, he looked at the approaching soldiers. The security department, he says, his voice tinged with annoyance. His face shows clear disinterest, as if he has no desire to engage with them. Yet he remains still, not moving a muscle, clearly wanting to avoid any conflict. As the soldiers advances, Chen Sheen's parasitic form begins to feel something shifting within. With a slight shudder, the human form of Chen Sheen begins to emerge, his face now breaking through the parasitic features. His parasitic form mutters, "No, not at this very critical moment." Suddenly, he notices his reflection in the glass before him. Staring at his own appearance, he is momentarily taken aback. His human side now fully emerges, revealing a mix of disbelief and realization. He looks at himself and says, "Wait, what? Is that me?" As Chen Sheen's parasitic form looks at his reflection, his human side fully emerges. Stunned, he clutches his head and exclaims, "What is going on?" His expression reflects disbelief as he sees himself, struggling to understand the sudden change. Chen Sheen, still in disbelief, feels his shock deepen. He gestures to his head, unable to comprehend what's happening to him. What's happening to me? What have I done?" he exclaims, clearly panicked. His eyes then fall to the horns on his head, and his confusion intensifies. Why are there horns on my head? In front of him, one of the soldiers comments with a baffled tone, "Which manga is this cosplay outfit from?" The soldiers, clearly confused and caught off guard by the scene, scanning the figure before them. This doesn't seem like part of the mission. Then, Chen Sheen noticed the passed-out guy beside him and was shocked. His eyes widened as he looked at the man on the ground, the realization dawning on him. With a sharp intake of breath, his gaze shifted to his own claws, now stained with the evidence of his transformation. His voice trembled. "I did this." The shock of his actions left him frozen in place, struggling to comprehend the chaos he had caused. Still reeling from the transformation, he freezes, the parasite's words echoing in his mind. He stares at his hands, the weight of the situation sinking in. "Does it mean I've been parasitized?" he murmurs, his voice shaking with disbelief. The parasite responds coolly, "Now you know, I was the one who saved your life." Chen Sheen glares at the unconscious figure, his voice rising in frustration. "You killed that person." The parasitic spirit scoffs, its voice dripping with sarcasm. "You dumbass, he's just unconscious." As the tension rises, one of the soldiers suddenly shouts, "Fire! Fire!" Without warning, the soldiers unleash a barrage of gunfire, the air around them crackling with the sound of rapid shots. The blast echoes through the room, aimed straight at their target. The soldiers open fire, bullets slicing through the air towards Chen Sheen. Still in shock, he freezes, but his parasitic form moves instinctively. In a blur, he dodges the shots with unnatural speed, energy crackling around him. He avoids the barrage. "Is this what I become?" Chen Sheen thinks as his parasitic form deflects the fire, sending sparks flying. Still grappling with the chaotic situation, Chen Sheen's eyes widen as he feels the parasite's control over him. His body moves against his will, and in a surge of frustration, he shouts, "You are controlling my body. Who are you?" As his words echo through the room, the parasite remains silent, its presence palpable, leaving Chen Sheen trapped in his own body, desperate for answers. After a brief silence, the parasitic spirit calmly responds, "Let's get away first." Chen Sheen winces as the hit lands, and with a frustrated growl, he mutters, "I got hit." The parasitic spirit, almost nonchalant, replies, "It seems like we haven't perfectly synchronized yet." Chen Sheen flinches, his body trembling from the impact. He spins around, his eyes wide with surprise and confusion, his face flushed with embarrassment. "It tickles," he exclaims as the shot hits him in the ass. One soldier, noticing the tranquilizer has had no effect, shouts, "The tranquilizer's not working." Another soldier, unfazed, quickly gives the order, "Use the shock grenade and stun him." As the soldiers fire the shock grenade at him, the parasitic spirit says, "Leave it to me." With a swift motion, he deflects the grenade, sending it back toward the soldiers, where it strikes them. With a powerful burst, Chen Sheen breaks through the side of the train, shards of glass flying in all directions. As he makes his escape, he turns and gives one last glance, smirking. "See ya," he calls out, his voice laced with defiance. Chen Sheen speeds up, dashing and leaping out of the train, quickly scaling the building's exterior. With the soldiers still stunned from the shock grenade, he makes his escape, leaving them unable to react as he vanishes into the distance. The air around him hums with energy as he speeds away. As the smoke clears, the soldiers begin to recover, shaking off the effects of the shock grenade. One by one, they stand and regroup. "Get up! Move! Move!" A soldier commands, helping a teammate to his feet. As the soldiers recover, a blonde-haired officer steps into view, accompanied by a dog with glowing blue eyes. The soldiers greet her. "Good morning, Infantry Captain." The soldiers stand firm, greeting the Infantry Captain, but she walks past them, ignoring their honorifics. She heads directly toward the train, asking in a serious tone, "What's the situation inside? Has he been caught?" This is the end of Chapter 2. Stay tuned for the next chapter to uncover the answers. If you enjoyed this video and want to see the next chapter, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring you more of this exciting journey.